Hi, it's Romy. Welcome to the channel, Libra. Thanks so much for tuning in. Happy solar returns to you. If you have a Libra sun, rising or moon, then this general reading for October 2020 may well resonate for you. So my readings are a blend of astrological influences, working with the tarot and connecting with my guides to intuit messages and information that can help you navigate through the coming weeks. So these are general readings, but if they do resonate for you, please do drop me a like and a comment. I love to receive your feedback, and you can support the channel by subscribing and also joining me for the extended version of the reading, and you'll find the links for that in the description box and in the comment section underneath. So let's go ahead and see what's coming up in this birthday month for you. Libra, oh my goodness, October is going to be a lot. So here's the highlights, right? We have two full moons. We open the month on the 1st with a full moon in Aries, activating your 7th house of relationships. We close the month on Halloween, Samhain, with a full moon in the sign of Taurus, activating your 8th house. We also have Pluto moving direct again on the 4th. We have the second of that squaring off between Mars and Pluto on the 9th. Think back to August 13th to be reminded about what it's bringing up for you. We then have Mercury moving retrograde in Scorpio on the 14th, but we're going to be in the shadow right from the start of the month. We have a new moon in your sign on the 16th. We also have Venus moving into your sign on the 28th. So it, to me, feels like this opening and closing with these powerful big full moons. Blue moon, really, that second one that we're going to be welcoming on the 31st, is demanding, really, the final release, you know? And for so many of you, what you have been working on, this is like the ultimate breakup of the pattern, right? It's the point of culmination, it's the point of profound release, and it's like you've got nowhere to go with it, really. It's almost like the universe is kind of like holding you in this container and saying, you will face this, you will deal with this, you will emerge and expand and grow as a result of this. And if you have been experiencing throughout 2020 a continuation of this sort of fight, flight, or freeze kind of an energy, understandably so, where there has been disruption or chaos or things that have been out with your control, October really holds you. It's a very powerful space, but it's also a very disruptive space to kind of wake you up and really allow you to step outside of yourself so that you can make the progress that you're now ready to receive. Okay, this is a time when we're really seeing that truth is transcending so much of the illusion. So we're opening up your reading with the Page of Swords. I like this because it's all about that communicative air elemental energy. You know, you're an air sign, and it's the way in which you can work with your intellect but also navigate the energies and understand how they're affecting mind, body and spirit to really enable you to break up with the patterns that have been holding you back or resistant. And for many of you, you know, you've already done so much of this work that really it could just be the final full stop. You know, it might just be that kind of exclamation mark where you're really putting the nail in the coffin of something, or you're really drawing a line in the sand, you know. Now, there is a strong emphasis in and around the areas of relationship this month for you, and all the way through to the end of the year, Libra. So I do think for many of you, there are set to be some profound changes happening on that level. For many of you, it's about communication and the focus in and around that. Now, remember, we've still got Mars retrograde right now. Now, with Mercury in a water sign, you know, that can make our emotions start to feel a little bit more confusing and uncertain. With all of that full moon energy as well, there's that slight haze that's almost going to permeate the entire month of October. So even though you're aware of these powerful shifts and changes happening and taking place, you may even find yourself needing to express very differently what your point of view or what your perspective is. Obviously, you're in your solar return, so you're kind of trying to step forward with this new sense of self at the same time. But what you need to understand is that the backdrop of energies, as powerful and as disruptive as it feels, is also going to have almost this element of kind of uncertainty or unknowing. The positive is that the veil is at its thinnest right now, and so your ability to tune inwards and to connect into your guides, to other dimensions, to your higher self, to really validate and confirm and give you that sense of support and guidance when you need it most, is the one thing that's going to help you through all of these powerful shifts that I see kind of unfolding. Yeah. Now the Page of Swords is inviting you to be curious. It wants you to look at new ways of doing things. It wants you to be open, right? There's an openness that I'm picking up from this, and it's almost like when we look at this card, she's kind of emerging through the darkness, emerging. And you know, maybe October's going to feel a little bit like that. There are going to be elements of you feeling like you're in the dark, but at the same time you are being held there powerfully by spirit. And these full moon energies on either side are about the kind of the surrender and the ancient wisdom that needs to be unlocked. So something needs to be activated, something needs to be provided to you, something needs to be understood, to be received. So that message coming, I think for many of you, will be coming through your own spiritual connection, but also be aware that there's probably some powerful information or news or truths that are coming to light that are also going to help you. Now, it's not really about you moving through this month with a sense of trying to make anyone else feel comfortable at the expense of your own well-being, because what we're having is this acceptance that right now the most important thing is that you finish the task at hand, that you complete a process, you complete a cycle, you get to that understanding of where you're supposed to be at this moment in time on your journey, and that you really dedicate yourself to that with a sense of discipline. You know, the Eight of Coins coming through is about that honing. You're honing an energy, you're streamlining something, you're dedicating and finding a sense of actual balance and equilibrium, which is so what you need through this month, Libra. Not only as your sign, but also just as the backdrop to what we're going to be experiencing. Now, for some of you, this could be very connected into what's happening around your careers. You know, I feel like the Page of Swords is about you wanting to explore different avenues, you know, perhaps being open to new ways of doing things, being more flexible, changing up the way that you are approaching things, wanting to take different ideas forward to the people that you work with, work for, or if it's your own business, like perhaps wanting to make changes in strategy. And remember, we've talked before about how Mars retrograde can really help narrow that focus for you. Because we've also got Mercury retrograde this month, again, it's not the best time to be like, you know, launching and putting new things out there, but rather working with what you've got and getting it even sharper, getting it clearer, getting it more aligned with what it is that you're really looking to achieve. And I think one of the messages that's coming forward quite importantly for you this month, Libra, is to acknowledge at every moment, because for me the Eight of Coins is about the small details, the consistency of the small details, returning over and over again to get better, become more experienced, and become that absolute expert, really. So what you need to understand is where I'm directing myself. Is this helping me get to the bigger vision that I have, you know, or is it just coming forth as a distraction, or am I using it as a distraction? Because if you're using it as a distraction, the universe is going to come in and pull that kind of focus back to where it should be. And if you are distracting yourself with other things because you're avoiding that one big change that you know you need to make, it's only going to kind of boomerang back at you. So this is a time that we really want to be focused on, where do I want to get to, where am I heading, and am I doing the right things to support myself? Now, it doesn't mean that you have to, you know, move heaven and earth this month, you know. It's just about prioritizing and making sure that the things that you are doing, you're doing them to the best of your ability in the current climate, so that you can kind of look at yourself in the mirror and say, do you know what, like, I'm really supporting myself right now. You're not seeking, and I quite like this about the energy I'm picking up for you this month, Libra, you're not seeking the validation from anyone outside of yourself through this month. it's very much about how do I make myself feel good about what I'm doing, where I'm at, and the decisions and choices I want to make right now. The Knight of Cups comes through, very determined, very focused. Again, there's focus coming through already this month. So what I am seeing is that in spite of some of the churn and the change that's happening around you, you are managing to kind of keep your cool. And there is this sort of almost sense of like further restriction or, you know, changes or disruption are actually making way for new possibility for you. And I think that you are taking that and identifying it and seizing it immediately to support you in how you want to move forward between now and the end of the year. Now, you may well be dealing with a water sign here. It could be a Scorpio, Pisces, or Cancerian. Could be connected into a workplace, or perhaps, you know, if this is about relationships, because that full moon in Aries in your 7th house is going to illuminate something that, you know, you're being asked to focus upon. And by the time we come around to that 31st, you know, very powerful energetic day for us with a full moon on Samhain, Halloween, in your 8th house of transformation. There's something really profound that I feel coming in and around that time. And so maybe it's just the way that you see yourself, the way you view yourself, the way you're looking at a specific relationship. If someone is turning up around this time, remember those retrogrades can always bring back people from the past, so you need to be aware of that. But I do feel that you're not losing yourself in anything. I think you're just coming to this absolute moment of what it is that you want to break up with in terms of the patterning that is showing up again and again in terms of the relationship. And this is really forming so much of what your new awareness is in regards to your own soul contract. I think 2020 has illuminated that for so many of you so powerfully, and that you've been working on different aspects of it throughout the year. October, there's no let up, but what you are starting to see is the way that things will begin to knit together in a completely new dynamic. Now, I love the white space that surrounds this quiet figure of the Two of Swords. There's indecision here. Now, this card of the Two of Swords does link into your energy, Libra, right? So there's a choice that you need to make. There's something that you need to arrive at, and you need to do it by yourself. Really important that you're not taking on too much outside influence. It's going to really muddy the waters. Now, maybe it is connected into what this Knight of Cups is proposing, presenting to you. It might also be about how you can do something better, how you might be able to expand it or change it or adjust it in order for it to work better for you, okay? So I think that there's going to be a really strong focus with many of you just about the general way you want to improve different aspects of your life, but inevitably what that's going to do is bring up where there might have to be a compromise or a sacrifice that you make, because those two full moons are going to ask you to release something. What you need to remember is whatever you're releasing is going to be for your highest good, and it's going to create space for the new energy that's forming, okay? And I feel that you're on the tipping point of some extraordinary opportunities, and maybe some of you are already feeling into that vibe, right? You're already aware that something's brewing, and that you have to kind of create this white space in your life to be able to fully receive it. Maybe that's just about more quiet time. Maybe it's about, you know, giving yourself more creative space, or dedicating more time to a specific relationship or to that area of your life if you're wanting to try and invite love in, you know. But that Page of Swords, again, for me is bringing in the possibilities, okay? But, you know, sometimes too much choice can be confusing. And like I said at the beginning of this read, you got to remember October's going to have that sort of haze permeating all the way through the month. So there will be times when things feel very unclear. And that could kind of throw you a little bit if you're not careful. Now remember, Pluto moves direct in Capricorn on the 4th of the month. That's a very powerful time, because then we're going to have Saturn, Pluto and Jupiter all direct again. So that's really going to be supportive and actually helping to move you forward. What you might feel though is that there's almost like energy influences or things that feel invisible that are almost like holding you back. Now, it isn't for any other reason than something else has to come into place. That's how I need you to look at it. The universe is busy working on a bigger picture, tapped into your vision, what it is that you want. And I think there's more that needs to sort of almost like come together. So if you are someone who's feeling that a little bit, don't let the frustration build, okay? Find ways to channel the excess energy, get even more creative, have a bank of even more ideas. You know, think about the ways in which you can improve those relationships to an even greater degree. Like the devil's in the detail through October, okay? So you're kind of going to be oscillating between this big visionary outlook for yourself and how things are changing, and also finding time to get down into the nitty gritty. So Page of Wands, you know, could be a fire sign energy, Sagittarius, Aries, or Leo, who is central to what is playing out and unfolding for you this month. Again, we've got this choice and indecision coming up around the Page of Wands. But I also feel this is about you trying to figure out which way, which approach, which direction, right? And it could come as a bit of a surprise to some of you, because you may well have found, you know, that you had a little bit more certainty coming out of that, you know, period of the last round of eclipses. But remember, we're now building into that second round of eclipses from November onwards. And so you might be feeling into that a little bit already. And what that does is it just brings us to a point of crossroads. You know, it brings us to a place where we're encountering those thought forms that are challenging us, that want to disrupt us, but it's only from the perspective that we are going to become more as a result of it. Now, that Page of Wands, you know, there's a lot of messages and communication coming your way, but I see you sitting and processing the information. Look at the figure in the Eight of Coins here and the Two of Swords. She's taking time to really reflect. What does this mean for me? How will this help me? How will this change me? How will this impact me in my life? What is my vantage point here? What is my belief around this? Is there something I need to change in myself? Or am I ready to absolutely embrace this and move forward and take that leap of faith and have that kind of new vision quest emerge? Yeah, so I feel like it's not a month of stagnancy. It's absolutely a potent, powerful time. But you are going to be dealing with those crossroad and choice energies. Okay, so here we've got the Six of Coins coming in. And I think it is your reflection in and around the way that energy is being balanced and reciprocated in your life. And because we've talked about the highlight in and around relationships, I think for some of you that have experienced not enough, the breadcrumbing, the ghosting, the situations where people are utterly inconsistent, I think here you're coming to a point of, okay, I need to break up with this pattern. It's done. I'm over it. I'm moving forward. For others who are already in those situations where they're finding that there's new seeds, there's new pathways, there's new energies, you know, this could well feel like the validation where you're starting to get a better balance. You know, you're starting to draw abundance towards you in a new way. You're feeling the energy in your physical body as well as changing your thought forms and working on a completely different level and frequency, okay? I do have a sense when I look at this, you know, with the two younger figures kind of looking up almost expectantly. So I feel like someone is expecting something from you. Maybe not someone, maybe more than one person. Maybe it's family members, maybe it's people at your work, or maybe it's someone you're in a key relationship or friendship with, Libra. But what they're expecting, I think you are an evaluation of whether you can give. Do I have it in me? Do I still want to be that person? You know, how am I able to still honor myself and show up and be committed and deliver what is expected of me? So I think there's some really powerful changes happening through the month of October in and around that aspect of things, okay? If we are looking to draw more abundance towards us, as we look at the beautiful creative energies that surround that Six of Coins, it talks to me about, you know, you have ideas that are ripe. You know, remember, this is harvest time. They are ripe to be able to start to test, to experiment with, to change things up, and that can deliver the opportunity for new income streams to come forth. I think sometimes we're also being invited with these energies to think more creatively. Perhaps what was always safe in the past no longer feels so much. So you're now evaluating your life, the way that you're working, the way that you rely on different financial streams of income, and saying, okay, what would I do in this instance? And, just kind of spreading that risk a little bit more, looking to see whether there are different ways that you can make yourself feel secure. But it's also about that level of emotional security. And I think that's also important as we look at wanting to get the right balance there, wanting to know that if you're going to give that love, that time, that energy, that wisdom in any relationship, that it's going to be appreciated, it's going to be honoured, it's going to be valued, and it's going to be reciprocated. Now, we do have Three of Swords coming through, Libra, at the root of the reading, and so that indecision or that feeling of slight knowing what you have to do, but feeling like there's a little bit of a heartache around the decision. And maybe it's just because you're identifying with the fact that it needs to be a big sacrifice or compromise, and that, there are going to be changes that result in some upset. Now, it might not be for you, because I kind of get the sense with this, Libra, that this could be the impact or the ripple effect of what you're going to be deciding. Now, remember, when these readings come through, they're general, and these are things that you may have already just experienced. It might be what plays out in the coming weeks. So if it doesn't make sense to you, and in the day that you're tuning into this, have an open mind about how this is going to develop over the coming days and weeks. But this Three of Swords for me feels like the impact. It's an impact energy that I'm picking up. Now, it's very clarifying. So even though we have October holding this slightly confused energy, it is intense and it's disruptive. And so when you get to that point of decision, right? And I think when you get there, it's absolute, because what's happening is that your truth has absolutely transcended any illusion that you had about yourself, about a person, about a situation. And, there might be something kind of heartbreaking about that, because maybe it's something that you always thought was going to end up, coming together, and it just hasn't, or you're realizing it won't in the way that you wanted it to. But that doesn't mean that what is on its way isn't even more beautiful, isn't even more extraordinary in its opportunity. So this 3 is about the cleansing, healing, cathartic necessity of allowing something to release so that you can create space for what is to come and what is divinely yours and you are ready for. Okay, so I think that you are going to necessarily feel some conflict around what might be playing out through this month, okay? But you need to be true to where you're being guided, all right? I just think it's going to feel too strong. Now, when we've got that beautiful new moon in your sign on the 16th coming in, I think that's in and around the time when you're going to start to feel the confidence and the courage to kind of put your store out, to communicate what you're feeling, Now, the 2 of Cups is coming in, and there's this beautiful feeling of devotion, right? I think you're deciding what and with whom you want to devote yourself to. Now, for some, yes, that could absolutely be on a romantic level. For others, this could just be the realization that at this moment in time, at this part of my journey, what really needs my full time, energy and attention, is my self-care. It's my business. It's my children. It's my pet. It's, whatever it is that matters to you more than anything right now, that is inviting you to cultivate, to nurture, to tend and to transform, That 8 of Coins wants that sort of beautiful commitment and discipline. All right, the 2 of Cups, they are in a beautiful embrace, but you do see the female figure here looking directly forward, okay? Now, she is looking toward this kind of heartbreak energy. Now, if this is you, Libra, and it could well be reversed, this might be someone that you are in a connection with. You know, there is something here, perhaps it's already been experienced or it's set to emerge over the next few weeks that needs to be dealt with. You know, we need to have that, something needs to come to light and be brought up to the surface to be healed, to let go. And because you're moving to like that next level in relationships, you know, that conscious awakened state that you're now in is really demanding it of you. But you are very wrapped up in the energy of this person. So there isn't like a separation going on here. It's just that there's something that we have to deal with. Now, you know, we are in the month of the year where that veil is very thin. So I do think that you're going to be tuning in all the way through the month, but especially as we approach that 31st, into the guidance and support of your family members and spirit, of those guides that have been working and supporting you throughout your lifetime, and especially in 2020 to help you navigate. And that those signs and messages are going to be so clear, and they're really going to help to validate, okay? Now, Five of Swords is about, for me, the breaking up of the pattern. You know, and you literally are turning your back on it. You're turning your back on the pattern that left you feeling like high and dry, that left you feeling like you were overgiving, that left you feeling like it doesn't matter what I do, nothing ever comes together. It's like whatever the thought form, whatever the narrative, whatever the story is, the full moon on the 1st, on the 31st is demanding that you look at it right in the eye, that you don't avoid, that you don't turn away, and you say, you know what, that was an old version of self. That was not reflective of who I am and who I am becoming, and I'm done. I'm done with it. And I see you giving that sense of decisiveness to yourself, so that as you then move forward into November and December, and that powerful time of like absolute awakening and the emergence, the cracking open of a brand new way of being, a brand new way of moving through the world, you're not carrying any of that crap with you, Libra. That's what I pick up. That's what I'm seeing. So let's take a look and see how these oracle cards just reflect your main reading. Life purpose. Okay. I love the fact that we've got kind of these multiple full moons going on here, and it's also like the symbolism of really your sign with the tree reflected here kind of links into that almost equinox energy as well, which, you know, we've just passed as I'm filming this. So what took place around that time? What was the shift? You know, your guides are working with you very closely right now to help you understand what you're here for, but also the things that you're meant to be focused and working on. And, you know, that's across all aspects of your life. So take a close kind of view and an open view about the patterns that are showing up right now and where you're supposed to be releasing, okay? There's a mirroring effect that happens when we're in 7th house energy. So that full moon at the beginning of the month in Aries is asking you, what are your relationships mirroring back to you? What do they have to show you? What do they have to tell you about yourself, about the way that you've changed, the way you want to continue to evolve? And let that be the way that you're going to start to allow these new decisions to come in. Full moon in Scorpio, it's time to release negativity. 5 of Swords, that's what you're letting go of. That's what you're letting go of. Now, Mercury retrograde in Scorpio, and then the Sun moving into Scorpio later this month, asks you to go deep. That second full moon in Taurus in your 8th house of transformation, ruled by Scorpio. This is such a wonderful time to really put to bed something that has been plaguing you, and a part of you that felt like you just couldn't detach from, you couldn't be free from. And we're letting it go so that we can start to invite in much brighter, healthier energies, you know, to think differently for ourselves and what's possible, to have that sense of limitlessness about what we're capable of and the type of experience we get to have in this life. Okay, I've used these Halloween cards just for this month. And you have barmbrick, which is a type of bread, a loaf, yeah? Sweetness and synergy. I like that because it feels to me like you're reevaluating the sweetness of your life, the things that are really important to you. You're shifting your priorities. You're understanding where you can harvest energy more effectively You know, that Six of Coins, I'm going to withdraw myself from this situation so I can put more emphasis and focus, Eight of Coins, into the areas, Knight of Cups, that really deliver for me or that I really want to see progress in. Okay, there's also for me looking at the size of this quality of wanting to share, right? You know, this time of Halloween sewing, it's a time of coming together, it's a time of community. And I think that you are, you know, coming through a time when, yes, there's self-reflection and an internalized dialogue that needs to happen, but also in that beautiful solar returns energy, this willingness to step out and show people, this is who I now am. I want to share of myself, but in a way that feels really healthy to me. And with that, there's this beautiful synergy of energy that comes through when the right people, the right opportunities are starting to show up and deliver themselves in really extraordinary ways. I think there's going to be some nice sweet messages coming through with all these pages as well that are going to help you to feel validated about the choices and decisions that are on your mind and in your heart, and help steer you in the right direction this month, Libra, okay? So I hope this has resonated for you. Remember, it is a general reading. I'd love to hear how it plays out for you. Please do drop me a like and a comment. If you want to join me for the extended version of this reading, I'm going to go ahead and pull us some clarifying cards right now, okay? So think about a question that may not have been answered in this main spread right now, Libra, and I will pull us a couple of cards that we'll go into in more detail in the next reading if you wish to join me. Okay. And let's just clarify this Page of Swords energy, linking into Gemini, Aquarius and Libra. Okay, here we have another Six of Pentacles coming up. It's a very altruistic kind of charitable aspect of this. So maybe you do want to give of your time, your energy, your expertise. Or maybe you're just feeling like that breadcrumbing or ghosting energy with that Knight of Swords kind of coming through a little bit sneaky maybe. Sneaky. Okay, Seven of Swords energy. So maybe there's something that you're dealing with. Now, this could well be some self-sabotaging thoughts that you have in your own energy that you're going to be dealing with and really powerfully releasing this month. But solace in the work, right? Queen of Pentacles. Earth sign, Taurus, Capricorn or Virgo may also be important for you this month in relation to what's happening in and around work. Again, this card of choice coming through for you, weighing up your options on something. But that feels exciting because you're just coming to this moment of clarity, this truth just transcending so much of the illusion, this staircase behind her indicating that you are elevating, you are becoming more enlightened to people, to situations. King of Cups with the Knight of Cups, so it certainly could be a water sign that you have or are engaged in some sort of dynamic with at the moment, or somebody who's displaying that kind of an energy forth, yeah? King of Pentacles, also the Moon energy wanted to come out here as well. No surprise with those two powerful full moons this month. King of Swords. Okay, you're getting a lot of court cards coming up this month, October, meaning the influence of people and interactions are going to be significant for you. Five of Swords just coming through again, so definitely a little bit of a headache or a challenge that we need to deal with, Libra. I think you're going to see it coming though, all right? I don't feel it coming up unexpectedly. Okay, that Three of Swords is bringing in Hanged Man. You know, there is a little bit of a protective energy that's going on around the discussions and the energies to do with this. I just think you want to move on. You desperately want to move on from something or someone or just a particular pattern. You will though. Judgment. There's release, rebirth around this. A lot of strong earth energies coming through to support you this month. So Ten of Cups and Ten of Coins coming through as well, which is really beautiful. There's another Eight of Coins coming up. Okay. Let's leave it there, Libra. If you're joining me for the extended, you'll find the link in the description box and the comment section underneath. I really appreciate your support of the channel if you do. Thank you so much for tuning in. I wish you beautiful blessings for this solar return. It's going to be a really interesting, really incredibly powerful month. Keep yourself grounded and open to beautiful possibility, and find numerous ways to keep soothing your soul. Thank you for being here. Lots of love. Bye for now.